it's Ange. Thank you for tuning into my station. And today I wanted to talk about the new moon in Aries that's coming up this April 5th, 2016, and how we're entering into retrograde season this April as well, as we have a lot of planets that are moving backwards, and so there's going to be a lot of reflecting and revising and kind of slower energy happening. So to begin, what does a new moon mean? A new moon is all about new beginnings and creating our dreams and wishes. And when it's in Aries, a planet of action, a planet of, pushing through and having a strong self-identity and having strong boundaries, it's a push for us to reaffirm our self-identity and self-direction. So when we have this happening on April 5th, the themes will be to take action in this regard, to take action towards affirming our boundaries, our self-identity, and standing up for our beliefs. There are two other aspects that are happening during this full moon. There is a trine of Saturn in Sagittarius, and there's also a square of Pluto in Capricorn happening. So Saturn in Sagittarius, when it's trine to this new moon, it also is a push for us to stand up for our beliefs and to reaffirm our boundaries, because Saturn is all about boundaries and creating, ways to assert that. And Sagittarius is all about the big picture, looking at our philosophical mindsets or belief systems. So when we have Saturn in Sagittarius, it's actually another push for us to focus in this direction and to really reaffirm who we are. And when it's square in Pluto in Capricorn, that kind of pushes us to have a bigger picture approach, which is also very Sagittarian-like. So we have this push for us to take action towards our dreams and wishes and to reaffirm our belief systems and to communicate that with others and to stand up for ourselves, because it's a push for us to look at the bigger picture of what's happening. And the bigger picture is that we need to have these boundaries so that we can blossom and have new beginnings, right? That's what the Aries new moon wants, is to have these new beginnings, is to take action towards our dreams. And that's the bigger picture that we're looking at this new moon. So there's also Mercury that is moving into Taurus on April 5th. And so this is a very interesting energy. Oh, my mistake. The new moon is on April 7th and Mercury moving into Taurus is on April 5th. Sorry for that. Anyway. Around the same time, we have Mercury moving into Taurus, and it's from April 5th until about June 12th. And when Mercury is the planet of communication, of expression, of, sharing ideas and all that, when it's in Taurus, it wants us to be expressive in a very grounded way. What is the utility and the practicality of what we're expressing? So it's a time for us to really balance this, our belief systems, what we want to stand up for ourselves and our self-identity, and how we use that on a practical day-to-day basis. So when Mercury is in Taurus, it actually wants us to express these things, but it wants us to express them in a more grounded, practical way. Taurus is also ruled by the sign of Venus, so it does like expression, to be artistic in nature, to have some creative aspect to it, and to have some material aspects so we can feel it with our senses, to actually have some practical sense expression of what we're, you know, expressing with other people through artwork, through creative writing, through some sort of dance, whatever it is that, you know, you're guided to do. So that is another theme that is happening during this new moon. And then we're moving into the retrogrades. So there's several retrogrades happening this April. And so there's another energetic pull through this whole month. And it started in March 24th, 2016, when Saturn went retrograde. And when Saturn goes retrograde, and it was in Sagittarius, it's asking us to maintain the status quo. It doesn't want us to take any major new actions or to make decisions about our love life and our financial life. That's the focus mainly in this chart. So any decisions that we have going on our finances and our money, when a planet goes retrograde, it wants us to kind of just hold off on making decisions in those areas. So that's what happened on March 24th. Another sign that is going retrograde is Mars. It's retrograding in Sagittarius on April 17th. So as we move from the new moon on April 7th in Aries, which is a planet of action to take, action towards our self-identity, to stand up for our beliefs, to start our new beginnings, however they may come to us. When the planet Mars goes retrograde on April 17th, it's going to constrict that. So it's going to want us to wait to take action afterwards. So if there's anything that we want to take action about, whether it's signing a new business deal, making contracts, starting a relationship, starting a business, it wants us to hold off on that once April 17th comes around until about June. So it's a really good time for us to start something now. And then after April 17th, when the retrogrades happen and start to really push us to revise and review and re-strategize, it will be a time for us not to start any new endeavors, whether it be relationships or businesses or contracts or anything of that nature. So even for myself, I will probably not be starting any full business for my coaching right now until after these retrogrades pass, and it'll be around June. So that's my recommendation. Another retrograde we're having is Pluto in Capricorn on April 17th. So this one is more about detoxing our bodies and cleansing. So it's going to be also a push for us to kind of review our health regime and to really detox anything that we still have in our bodies, whether it be, any types of toxins or, any types of medications we can stop taking and detox out of our body, eating healthier, organic, whatever you are guided to do. And then when Mercury goes retrograde on April 28th, this will be a really big push for us to review, to revise, to find out all the details that we may have missed on any contracts that we have started before these retrogrades happened, and to really review our business dealings, our relationships, look at all the fine points, really look at the details, to re-strategize, to redecorate your home if there's something out of balance in your home or you don't like the colors, to really redo things that maybe need a second look. So that going on, this energy is going to push us up until about June with these retrogrades. So it's going to be a really big push at the beginning of April, like this big wave of, self-identity, self-expression. And then at mid-April to about June, We're going to have kind of like a constricting energy of reviewing and revising and resting and just looking at the bigger picture and just kind of focusing on the status quo of what's going on in our lives. So that being said, I wanted to do a quick reading from the magical messages from the fairies because, you know, they're so symbolic of the springtime. And just to ask, you know, Spirit, if there's any guidance that we can focus on this new moon coming in Aries, because it's going to be kind of like a new beginning for a lot of us. So I'm going to do a quick reading and ask Spirit what we should focus on this spring. Oh, and here's the card that wants to come up, and it's beautiful. So it's telling us that everything that we're asking for will be coming in the summertime. How beautiful is that? Like, it almost perfectly explains what this new moon in Aries is all about. That, you know, all these intentions and these goals and, you know, our belief systems and what we want to achieve in our life, all these intentions that we're going to be creating during this new moon to create our new beginnings, that they will become ours this summertime. Like, that is just, you know, like a prayer answered. So I really hope this helps anyone on their journey, and I wish you all a beautiful spring. I will probably most likely taking my own relaxing, revising, reviewing kind of next few weeks when the retrogrades hit. So I probably won't make another video until about June. So thank you again for tuning in to my station. And if you're interested to hear more about the new moon in Aries, you can go to my Facebook page, which is called Ascension Coach. And on there, I'm going to have my blogs as well, if you want more information about this transition for the new moon in Aries. So thank you again for tuning in. I hope this helped anyone on their journey, and I wish you a beautiful spring. Thanks. Take care. Bye-bye.
Strawberries, cherries, and an angel's kiss in spring. My summer wine is really made from all these things.
I walked in town on silver spurs that jingled too, a song that I had